Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NJP Podcast, made by streamers for streamers, with me, Joe.
And I'm Nick.
And this week, as ever, I'll be bringing you the latest gaming news, as well as...
We'll be talking about your schedule, the finishing touches you need to put on before you go live, and what tech you actually need.
So before we actually get started today, I wanted to ask you, Nick, because Nick's had a new desk.
Yes, I do.
And she can now stand up or sit down to stream or do her work. But how are you finding that so far?
I love it. I actually think it's really great. So I highly recommend anybody who's a streamer or works a lot in a chair at a desk. I think it's fantastic. And I will say Autonomous does have a sale going on right now. I got this baby for like $230 off, which is always really awesome.
That's pretty good from what I know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really great because you feel a bit more energetic. I know I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today, and being able to stand up, I feel like helps me focus and be present and kind of feel a little bit more energetic.
Yes.
It's also good if you are like me and eat at your desk and get crumbs in your keyboard. Standing is better for digestion. So it's really good to be able to eat and then stand and work. So 10 out of 10, I recommend it. I am absolutely in love with it so far. I will be standing a lot more for streams. And it's really cool because as a streamer, you can provide different types of content when you're able to get up and move around. So
yeah,
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Ring Fit Adventure, when?
Oh gosh. When I get a capture card, I guess that's the one thing holding me back. But I did do a Beat Saber stream like last minute. This was a long time ago, and it was pretty awful, honestly, because I have no idea how to set up a Beat Saber stream. But now that I have like the standing desk and stuff, I'm like,
that makes it a lot easier, definitely, because you can have the desk there and you don't have to like run over like to somewhere else, and yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, for certain, and raise it up so that I'm not bopping it with the with the VR things, because those hurt. So
this week, quite a bit more news. It feels like we've been a little bit spoiled. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, and this is a very selfish thing in me to do because I loved this when I was a kid, is the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. The first couple of games are getting a remaster. Set to come out this September. This is going to be the original two, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, coming to PS4, Xbox One, and the PC in September.
Yes.
The first thing that went through my head when I saw this was they are going to have a nightmare getting those music licenses back, because I know from a few years ago, I can't remember the game I played. Oh, that's what it was. No, sorry, that's what it was. They remastered, or they re-released some of the old Grand Theft Autos, and the licenses had expired, so half the tracks were missing, and people were like replaying Vice City, like, where's all the music? Or playing San Andreas and going, where's all the music? It's like, well, the licenses have expired, and obviously they're not going to make enough money off those kind of remakes, because they weren't actually remakes. They were just, you could download the game on Xbox Live and stuff like that. So obviously they weren't making a shed load of money from it, so they weren't going to pay again for but it looks like there are quite a few tracks that are mentioned that I had a look at in the trailer. So it looks like they've got at least half the soundtrack so far. I don't know what will come of the actual launch game, whether it'll be the full set list, but I would imagine that some greedy artists out there might want even more for their money. Even though like there was two bands, Goldfinger and Millencolin, who I became big fans of through this series. But I think pretty much like maybe 80% of gamers that were around at the time have played this game, and had a great deal of enjoyment out of it. So I have
like butterflies when you're talking about this. I'm excited, and I don't even like, the music is great. I'm less excited about that. I'm more excited about the sick combo moves that I'm going to pull off. So I feel like the two games that like really were dear to me in that genre were like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and SSX. I love
Yes.
SSX.
SSX, yes, and SSX Tricky, and all those.
Yes.
Yeah, they were fantastic games, and they were the kind of games that was such great value for money because you did plow hours and hours and hours. Not hyper realistic, but what I found was, I think at the time Tony Hawk's released a game. There was a game released called Thrasher Skate and Destroy on the PlayStation, and it was abysmal. It was absolutely terrible. Like, it tried to be more realistic. Like, you had to put the moves before you even popped an ollie, before you even left the ground, which obviously is more realistic, but it just didn't work. It was really slow. I remember getting the demo of the original Tony Hawk game when you used to get them in the UK. You used to get a free demo disc on the front of the official PlayStation magazine every month, and this demo was and they'd have a few demos, but the main one was Tony Hawk, and it was just the warehouse level. And me and my friend, literally, we must have been about 13. We stayed up all night just playing that demo, the 2-minute demo with the one guy in the smallest level in the game. So yeah, I think it's held very dear to a lot of people, and it's going to sell astronomically, I can imagine.
Yeah, I'm excited that it's coming to PC because I was actually not expecting that. I was expecting you to stop after listing the consoles, and then you said PC, and I was like, oh God, yes. Okay, good. We're good. So I'm really excited about that. I am curious. I've noticed that a lot of games that are coming to consoles come to PC at a later date. So I'm curious if it'll be released all in one, or if it is going to follow the trend of, okay, well, we're releasing it for console, and then PC gamers will get it a few months down the line. So I'm hoping all at once.
Yeah. So, well, the article says that it's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC in September. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know the facts on that, and we know what game releases can be like with PC, especially if it's a console-heavy game, like Tony Hawk's will be. Cool though that it'll be coming out for the PC, because obviously it'll look great on the PC.
Oh yeah.
And the consoles are nearing the end of their lives, but don't forget, if you do download it for Xbox One, you can have it for their follow-up console for free, the souped-up version, as we've already discussed. But yeah, so that's probably the most exciting development of the week in terms of actual games, new games that are being talked about. I just wonder whether it's basically going to be, is it going to feel exactly like the original but with a new skin, or is it going to feel slightly different? That's my only wonder, and I don't know which would be better, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't really know. Like, make it feel exactly as it did before, just with some added stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because, like, I feel like either way you go, you have people so like hardcore on the fence of, oh, you changed too much, or oh, you didn't change enough. It's basically the exact same thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's one of those things where anytime you reboot someone, you kind of can't win. Someone's gonna have something to say about it. But however they decide to do it, I'm very excited about it, and I know I'll be playing it.
Yeah. So next up, Nintendo have new Nintendo games in the pipeline, ready for this year, but there may be delays due to the current situation, and actually still no mention of what they actually are, although the strong rumor is there is going to be a new Super Mario's All-Star kind of release, but with the 3D versions of Mario. This is just a rumor. There's nothing concrete on this. This is speculation. Some people in the know seem to think it's very, very likely that that's going to happen, but just speculation at the minute. Now, we've already spoken about the fact that Nintendo hadn't had a Direct for a really, really long time. Sales of the Switch were pretty good anyway. In fact, very, very good, even outselling the Xbox One. Over this coronavirus period, the sales have been absolutely astronomical, and they've been very difficult to get their hands on. So I'm kind of like, okay, Nintendo, I'm glad that there's Nintendo releases on the way. Of course, there's all the third-party games and independent games will be coming out anyway. But Nintendo-wise, there hadn't really been any mention of anything after Animal Crossing that was coming anytime soon. So, but I'm thinking at this point, it's May. It's nearly halfway through May, and they're announcing games for this within 7 months now. Although they say they might be slightly delayed, but I'm like, you need to. I mean, they don't need to tell us anything, but come on, man! Like, give us a little clue. Give us Nintendo fans a little bit of a clue. So I don't really know what to make of that. Is it a bit of a carrot to say, well, you know, you've just bought that Switch. Well, don't worry, there's plenty coming out for it. So make sure you save your money. Or, you know, is it that? I guess if it was like a new Super Mario sort of All-Stars style game being one of them, that is something that is all about the porting more than the development. So I guess maybe they wouldn't want to share it until later because they can't really show glimpses of like the old games. I don't know. Very weird. Very weird. I don't really know why you'd sort of, if you weren't going to divulge anything, why you'd say there are games coming out, but we're not going to show you anything.
It does seem like kind of what you're saying, like a teaser, like, don't worry, like, we're going to have more games coming out. But I mean, typically when you're like 7 months from a release date or even like a year from a release date, you at least know what game it's going to be. Yeah. So that is really strange. I'm hoping that it's something, if they're going to do that, I'm hoping it's something either a classic that people really, really want to see more of, or something completely new. Like if you're gonna leave us with such a cliffhanger, it really needs to be worth it. Otherwise, people are gonna be pretty mad.
See, this is the thing, because whenever Nintendo have released like a rehash of something or ported it, so when, like, for example, when they ported Super Mario 64 to the DS, it contained extra content. So I would be really happy with a 3D World All-Stars kind of game, just to have it all in HD and could probably control a little bit better than some of the older titles like Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 64, Galaxy.
Yeah,
have them in HD, and I would be happy with that. But maybe I just know Nintendo, they don't just like to re-release; they like to add something a bit extra. So potentially that's quite exciting. Nobody really knows of anything else. That we know that there's going to be a Breath of the Wild 2, but we don't have a release date for that. And we've been told it's not going to be this year. There's big rumors of the Metroid series making a comeback, but still we've not really heard anything. So one to watch, I suppose. Okay, so Sony are saying that the PS5 is definitely not being launched in October, but is being launched this year still. Apparently, this came about from a job listing that was created for a position at Sony Interactive Entertainment, hosted on a Japanese recruitment website. And the line in question mentioned that PlayStation 5 would launch in October. So obviously this blew up into people losing their tiny little minds. Like, oh my gosh, it's definitely coming out in October. Sony say, no, it's not coming out in October, but it is coming out this year. But I would guess, I don't know what you think now, I would guess that it must be, if it's going to be holiday season, it must be November, because they wouldn't leave it, or very early December. It's got to be.
Yeah, certainly. Well, if it's coming out this year, that means it has to be before, the end of December, right?
Yeah.
So it could come out before October, but I actually find that pretty unlikely. I do think they're going to end up waiting. November might be a good time, or maybe right after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, stuff like that. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Or
definitely around the holidays, though. That would be my guess.
The Black Friday thing's a good point, actually. What if you actually released it on Black Friday, so that people who had been saving for Black Friday, or that's when people do their shopping. Like, I know it's when a lot of people go out and get presents on Black Friday, right? Yeah. Do you think that'd be a clever marketing move? Like, oh, it's Black Friday, get all these bargains, but PS5 is out, and you could spend your money on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that would be a good idea, because you don't tend to the Black Friday sales are what they are. They'll mark a lot of stuff, just gets marked up for a while, and then they bring it down for Black Friday. But it tends to be stuff. If it is a bargain, it tends to be stuff that's not cutting edge or brand new. Well, not brand new is a brand new actual tangible product, but brand new is in it's something new on the shelves. They're obviously keeping tight-lipped, because I don't believe there's an Xbox. Well, there isn't an Xbox release date, not an official date either. They're both like holiday season at the minute, because that's the other strategy is who blinks first. Who says this is the date, and then do the other side say, right, they're coming out on this date, so we're going out 2 weeks before.
Yeah, that would be the smart thing to do.
Well, yeah.
I mean, not nice, but smart.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it really interesting though. Like, super exciting, like from a neutral, because I know there's a lot of you fanboys and girls out there that root for each one. And the thing is, I don't even know which one I'd get, to be honest. I probably will get one. I don't know which one.
Yeah. I think I probably would lean towards the Xbox just for nostalgia reasons. I've played a lot of Xbox. But I think, considering that I don't live alone and I do have Snack Daddy, and he would really, really, really like PlayStation, and he's more of a fanboy on that side, we'd probably end up getting the PlayStation.
Yeah.
But my heart would say Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've flicked between the two. I've never had both since. I've never had an Xbox and a PlayStation ever, but I flicked between both PS2, 360, and then PS4. So I don't know. I think the big seller for me, and this is something that probably didn't bother me so much before, was obviously the Xbox One has more features with regards to home entertainment in general. And now that downstairs is not my primary gaming space, and the living room is not my primary gaming space, that might sway me to something that has more features, that is more feature packed, being as it's going to be on the living room TV where I have people around. And
yeah,
so that might be the thing that does it for me this time, whereas that wasn't probably much of a thought last time.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah. And on the back of that, so we discussed last week how the Series X Xbox were going to be releasing like a Nintendo style Direct once a month. So I watched it. It is not really like a Nintendo Direct. There was not a lot of dialogue with producers and stuff like that, but it basically showed off a few exclusive games played on a Series X, basically, and then some of the third-party games that were being released on the Series X, and that was basically it. Little bits of dialogue here and there, little talks to the people who made the games. Some interesting games on there. I'll put the link in the description. It is probably worth a watch. To be honest, though, I was more excited by some of the trailers for the third-party games, which I'm pretty sure are inevitably on the PlayStation as well. Obviously looks fantastic. I mean, even as somebody who's recently upgraded their PC, looks fantastic. But I was quite excited by this thought of this Xbox kind of Direct sort of thing. But I don't know. Maybe now it looks like it's just going to be showing off games every month, which I mean is better than nothing, and it whets the appetite of people who are excited for it. But maybe actually, because there's a lot of stuff not finalized, we'll get more dialogue and details in the future.
Yeah. I think that, and this is kind of not off topic, but veering a little bit. Yeah. So we're talking about like Nintendo Direct and other game companies, kind of having this, I guess, online, what would you call it? What's the word for it? Not like BlizzCon, but like.
All right, expos. Like.
Expos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
or
we're
an
talking about,
online showcase.
yeah. So when
Yeah.
it comes to like online showcasing and expos, I feel like Blizzard does it particularly well.
They do.
And I wish that more companies would take notes from Blizzard, regardless of how you feel about the direction they're going in right now or BFA. Although I am going to play Shadowlands and I'm very excited about Shadowlands, even though I didn't play BFA. So yeah, I just feel like they do it really well. They always have like the game devs come and talk to you about their choices and the story, and it feels very immersive and like you really kind of get a clue into their process. And I feel like that's really cool. And it sounds like Xbox kind of failed to do that. It sounds like there wasn't a lot of talking to like the devs and the artists and
so like in my usual like say friends Facebook community, not the gaming not people who are gamers first or anything like that, people who game, like you normally see when they're excited about something they'll share stuff. I didn't see anything shared. In fact, I didn't see anything shared on my Jotendo socials either about the video. I didn't. I had to go looking for it. I actually only watched it just today because I completely forgot. But what you say about Blizzard, I agree with absolutely wholeheartedly. The last time they did a BlizzCon, I was actually down at my friends in London, who's been a massive fan of Diablo since the original. Felt very disappointed with 3, but a massive fan. But like, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna watch the trailer for Diablo 4, and it's happening at this time." And the and I've played the games. I'm not a huge fan of Diablo, but like, I think it's cool. And but I was interested to see it. And honestly, the video they showed blew me away and made me actually really want to play it. And the build up in the video and the story was fantastic. And they are very good at doing it. You're right, Nick. Absolutely right. Very, very good at doing it. And you would think, though, over the years, Microsoft have revealed things, especially when they were at big wars with Apple, you think they know how to do that. Like releases of Windows used to be massive. Every new Windows was such a massive deal, and they'd have celebrities wearing Windows t-shirts. And where is that with this? Do people think that's dated marketing now to do that sort of thing? Or like, are they just plowing all the money into the console and they know the console's going to be super expensive to produce, so the money's just being saved for that? Does it just sell itself now because of the brand? Because people know it so well, and people are fanboys with PlayStation alike? I don't know. But very subdued, even though, I had to go. I probably wouldn't know about these Xbox videos or showcases if I wasn't looking out for news every week. So I don't know. I maybe closer to the time they'll get more dialogue and then they'll hype it. Maybe they know at the minute it's not really to be hyped up. It's just showing tidbits. But when they've got more information and more stuff that's definite, they'll probably do bigger ones which they try and push a bit more. And you'll probably see them on your social media feeds, maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm really curious to see where this goes. I definitely plan to watch it because I do think PCs have definitely overtaken consoles, and I'm curious what the sales are going to be. If consoles are more trying to, you were talking about how it was like also doubled as an entertainment system.
Yes.
I'm wondering if they're going to kind of go that route to fill a niche there.
Yes.
Although realistically, your PC can fill that niche too.
Absolutely.
Get a little Raspberry Pi downstairs.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
Where it goes.
That's true. Raspberry Pi as well. Yeah, it will be. It's going to be an exciting few months. The lead up to the big console releases. Okay, so some Twitch news. I think this is fantastic, actually. Twitch, I believe at the minute it's only in the States, but I would imagine it will be everywhere at some stage. Twitch gift cards are now a thing. You can buy Twitch gift cards at $25, $50, or $100 to give to people. They can use it to spend on subs, gift subs, bits, whatever they like. Now, for streamers, this is huge. This is absolutely huge because particularly in, communities that have some younger audiences, they will be, sometimes they'll almost feel heartbroken that they can't sub because they're at school, and if they go to their parents and say, hey, can I take your credit card so I can give, $5 to this guy in England because I really like his content, they're going to be like, I don't think so. So, if there's always family members who are wondering what to get, nephews, nieces, grandkids, whatever, get them a Twitch gift card so they can sub to Joe Tendo and Nick Levels Up. But, it's going to sort of help fill that gap a bit, I think. I mean, it'll be more prolific around like Christmas time, obviously. Like, I think like January subs will be just like through the roof because all the younger people have had Twitch gift cards because they're like, their parents know they're on it all the time and stuff like that. And then it's a bit of, I guess it could also be a bit of security. So if the parents don't want to hand their details over, which you can understand, the 14-year-old kid, that giving them their credit card, they're probably not going to be that happy with it. They give them a Twitch gift card and say, this, you can use this up to a certain point, that this has got to last you until whatever. There's no worry, is there? There's no, they know it. They know what they've got. If they go and spend it all, they go and spend it all. There's no more. They won't keep taking. They won't, buy a load of stuff they shouldn't be buying by accident or on purpose. Twitch again, really on it, really forward thinking.
Yeah. I noticed this in my feed, I think just yesterday. I'm really excited about it because as a streamer, I'm always looking for ways to reward my community. And it's just another way you can reward them. Like if, for example, you hold some kind of like contest, the go-to for me has been Steam gift cards, but now you can do Twitch gift card.
Yes.
And it's a little weird because there's that kind of like, you have to tell them like, okay, well, this is for you. Like, don't feel obligated to spend it on,
to spend it on
go
me.
out and sub to other people. But I do think it's just a nice, fun way to kind of, just another way to reward people who really engage with the platform and really enjoy it. And again, Christmas will be really cool, especially because, people have lots of emotes to spam in January. Collect all the emotes. One of my subs just ran out yesterday that had like the absolute cutest emotes. And I wish I had a little gift card right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sub back, get my cute little Pokemon emotes. But yeah, I think it'll be really cool. I'm interested to see how it impacts subs and Twitch's margins overall. Yeah,
it will be interesting. I think we could probably safely say it's going to affect it in a positive way, but we don't know the scale of that positive impact. It seems difficult to imagine it would ever be negative. You never know, but it's unlikely. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what kind of impact that has. Okay. Next up, very quickly, we have Bad Bunny strikes again. So this is a weird one because I couldn't actually find the clip of what was said. So we discussed this a while back. I think maybe in the first episode. I'm not sure. For anybody who can't remember, Bad Bunny was the girl who was ranting at viewers for not subscribing to her, basically saying that $5 a month was nothing, and they should be subscribing, and they're disrespecting her as a content creator. Now this is a bit of a strange one because I wonder if she is joking this time. It's very difficult to make out without the clip. But basically, she has said, so in a recent stream, she dismissed a positive message from a viewer because it didn't include a donation, saying, "They give me fucking money. That's the way I register your respect. Do you understand?" This then sparked a rant from Bad Bunny, who claimed, "My value is so much more than all of your value put together of everyone in this chat. Like, I know every life has a value, but like my life is more valuable. All your lives have value, but mine has much more value than your life.
That has to be a joke, right?
Well, that's what I think. But then at the same time, given what's happened before, which was by all accounts not a joke, and she didn't claim it to be a joke either, which she does this time. She actually does claim it to be a joke. You would think that you'd be probably a bit more careful about how you addressed your viewers, given that you were, or maybe she's just likes the attention and maybe it's done wonders for her channel getting her name out there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be the thing. It's interesting though that, like, if I was to say anything like that, even like in any sort of context, and it's difficult to just take. I get it. We're just taking something completely out of context. We don't know exactly what's happened, but I don't think I'd ever, under any circumstances, address my viewers like that. You'd have to be saying it in a really stupid, jokey way, like to get away with that. The social media feedback sort of suggests that she's not joking. I'm gonna see if I can find the clip actually.
I hope it's a joke, but I agree with you. Even under joking circumstances, and you know I mentioned it before, I'm not easily offended. I find a lot of things funny. I have a very broad sense of humor. I'm not the one who's going to get up and walk out of a comedy club, but I do think that means you need to know how to read your audience, because you know not everyone has that type of sense of humor and feels that way. And not only that, but if you are going to joke about things that are maybe a bit more inappropriate, they have to be funny, right? And that wasn't really funny to me. Like I don't really understand what the punchline was or what the joke was. I don't know. Like maybe she meant it sarcastically, and maybe again we're taking it out of context. Maybe something was said around that made it humorous in the moment. But if it is a joke, I think it fell flat, and maybe she didn't read her audience very well.
Yeah, I think. So. Like I can't get a hold of the clip, but you would think that if you're in that situation, you would probably try and avoid talking like that. But then again, what would happen on the back of that? The next story is for Amaranth, a female streamer who's been banned for 3 days for showing lewd content on her channel. So this is her second ban, apparently. She's been banned before for showing content that she shouldn't have done. So apparently, the content that happened before was like a sort of role, like an anime porn role playing game where she accidentally showed a picture within that was really revealing, and it was anime. It wasn't real. It was anime. And playing that game, she was sort of banged to rights, because it's like, well, you were playing that game, like showing people, and you kind of knew what to expect. So what's happened this time is that she does a thing called ban appeals. So viewers that have been banned from her chat, she accepts appeals from, then goes through the appeals on the stream and decides whether she should give them another chance or not. Which is, I guess it's kind of interesting. It would make fairly interesting content. Fairly interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't know.
I'm probably going to tune into one of those.
But yeah, I mean, if you... I mean, I will show a picture on the video of this. She's 100% a titty streamer. Like, without a doubt. So while she was going through the banning, the ban appeals, one of the usernames she clicked on had changed their picture to a big penis, apparently. And obviously, like, she didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So it was this time it was an accident. Like,
Yeah.
nobody has that as their profile picture on Twitch, but obviously this person did. Or however she uses it. So yeah, she got a ban for 3 days because second offense, of course. Just raises the question again of boundaries and stuff, and what is okay and what is not okay, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting because I mean, clearly it was unintentional and that's something out of her control. And I do think Twitch should have some leniency there. And I know they've mentioned that if you like delete the VOD and make sure, that everyone knows it was unintentional, like ban the person in your chat. If you take the proper action steps to handle the situation, my understanding is that they'll be lenient with you. But I don't know if those steps were taken. I don't know if they weren't or were, but they still banned her. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'm actually pretty familiar with Amaranth. She's actually very interesting to me because she is she's full on titty streamer. But I mean, if you go and talk to her, she's like, yeah, this is how I make my money. When I wear more clothes, I make less money. And she's very like business oriented with it. And I respect that. Yeah. And I know some people really don't like her, but I don't know. I have respect for her as, she's like, this is what it is, and I really respect that. Also, she has good ASMR streams. So yeah, I've tuned in. It was interesting.
Yeah. The clip that I clicked onto, they didn't have that clip, obviously. It's deleted, but and I don't think anybody got hold of it. Well, not that I know of anyway. I think, yeah, she was doing ASMR. About as much titty as you can show and get away with, basically.
Yeah.
And like, I'm watching that as a guy, it's like, oh, okay. Like, but and I don't have a problem with that. I'm never going to stick around in that. I would get bored eventually. I mean, I can only look at them for so long before I'm bored. But I'm of the opinion, like, if you're just upfront about what you're doing,
yeah,
it's nobody else's business. You're upfront about what you're doing. Yeah. In fact, even if you're not that upfront about it, it's still your prerogative, right? As long as you're not telling people what to do, they don't have to watch you. She knows what she's doing. She doesn't try and hide the fact of what she's doing. It would be really interesting to get somebody like this in one day.
I think that would be really cool. Yeah. Because I do think there's a lot of, especially on my Twitter feed, and I don't know if Twitter analyzes my analytics, but there's a lot of like female streamers who maybe have like an OnlyFans or have like our titty streamers who just like they share these really cool body positive messages, which is probably I end up liking those messages and it probably shows me more. Yeah. But there are so many out there now who are like, it is what it is. This is what it is. And I think that's really cool. And I hope that momentum continues, because I do think, as with anything in life, you kind of have to own it. And so I think that's really cool. And it'd be cool to get their perspective on it and to get someone who is a titty streamer who's strong and independent and making business decisions who can talk about that. Yeah. Because, you have some people who are like, oh, well, she just shows her tits on cam and makes money. And I saw another, like a titty streamer, right? And she was like, well, this is a business for me. Like it's a lot of work that I put into this that you don't see. It's not as simple as I just take my shirt off. Like there's the advertising, because I mean, anybody can show their boobs, right? Like, so then how do you choose who you want to follow, who you want to interact with? So I do think it's fascinating that there are women out there treating this like a business and owning up to it. And I think that'd be cool to interview one. Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, even though it's not obviously not my thing, like I said, there's only so long I stick around. Everybody has sort of finite patience for everything. So there are plenty of girls doing this, right? Like it's probably a saturated, I don't know, I've never really been looking. I would imagine it's probably quite a saturated thing for the market. So you are probably gonna, you're gonna have to be putting out some sort of decent content as well. Absolutely. Because people are only going to drool over your tits for so long. You're going to need to give them something to a reason to stay, and certainly a reason to support. Because ultimately, if that's the absolute only thing that they are there for,
Are they going to shower them with money, or are they going to like shower a proper cam girl for, you know, one-on-one, whatever?
Yeah. Exactly.
They're probably going to do that, right? So the content has to be of decent quality as well, right?
It does. I think if you're going to be a titty streamer on Twitch, like, you know, and that's the cool thing. I think they're recognizing like, hey, I'm on Twitch. Like, I have content. Like, it's not just my body. That's part of it, but I have content. And that's why I follow a lot of these girls. And that's why I look for their tweets, because their content is interesting. They're really funny. I admire that they own up to this. Like, they're fascinating people. They're more than just a body. And that is so cool. So I think really, you know, someone like Amaranth, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like her, and maybe she's had other things that I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know much about her at all.
I respect that, you know, she's a titty streamer who's like, well, this is what it is. Like, I've literally been in her chat and she's like, well, this is how I make my money. I wear more clothes and I don't make as much. And it's cool because she's calling chat out on that, right? She's like, well, you guys are like dictating this, you know?
Definitely. Definitely.
So yeah, I don't know. I find them fascinating. I'm kind of on the same boat where like I couldn't watch someone who's just, you know, for a body, like they have to be funny. They have to have a good personality. It has to be there. I mean, just like in a relationship, right? You can't date someone who's just attractive and there's nothing there.
No,
it gets old.
Tried it.
So yeah, same. It gets old. It gets old real fast. So yeah, I do think it's the same on Twitch. You have to have a personality, and some of these girls really do. If people would be more open in the community about it. Although I think we might have a case of the people who are against titty streamers, like the small subsect of people who are angry, shout the loudest kind of deal. That's very possible too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't mean, we've spoke about they're not taking. I've seen guys who stream like testosterone fueled first person shooter action, and it's like, well, that's not what they're looking for at that moment in time, is it?
Yeah.
If they like,
titty streamers are not taking your viewers.
If that's what they want to see, they are probably not gonna steal any of your viewers. So I mean, certainly I wouldn't worry about her stealing any of mine, and like, because I'm quite a lot different to her. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very interesting.
And, you know, I just remembered something. There was a YouTube video I saw. This was from one of the people I follow on Twitter. They made a video. I think you'll like this. It's called semperpass.
Right. And
so they pull up streamers, like female streamers, and say whether they wanted to semperpass. And of course, my first reaction was like roll the eyes, because I think simp is so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. And then I watched the video and I loved it, because she was like, hell yeah, I'd simp for you. Like, she was basically trying to take the term back and be like, so what? Like, why is it so like, why is it such a big deal to sub to a female streamer versus a male streamer? And it was such a cool video. It was so cool. I feel like, I don't know, if we could interview her, that would be really cool, because she is really interesting as a person on Twitter. Her video was really interesting, and I just thought it was cool that, you know, she's putting those vibes out there. She's like, yeah, I simp for her. I simp for her too. And for her, I simp mad hard. And it was just,
yeah, exactly. Like, this simp thing, it's a bit like the way I see it. So for anybody who's listening who doesn't know what it means, in fact, the best way is for me to get Urban Dictionary up, right? Give you the fully factual, unofficial, factual but not factual, because this is Urban Dictionary, of course. Simp. Okay, so on here, the top definition on Urban Dictionary is a man that puts himself in a subservient/submissive position under women in hopes of winning them over without the female bringing anything to the table. Or a man who puts too much value on a female for no reason. And this is what I've found it's probably used for most on Twitch. A man that prides himself with chivalry in the hope of getting sexual gratification from women. Now, so what people will say is, oh, you know, they'll find the case is a lot of the time it's like a man, but it works both ways. There's women that have been called simps, and same, people that are interested in the same sex being called the same thing. It works all around. Most of the time it'll be somebody showering a streamer with money, or donations, or gift subs, bits, whatever. And they'll be called a simp, like, for doing that, because they find whoever attractive. I mean, I feel like the people that have a problem with this are kind of the people who would like to get those sort of comments from the same people, aren't necessarily getting them from the same people, but they feel like it would be low of them to donate to them too much or go over the top with donations, because when actually they really might actually appreciate them. But I feel like it's like almost like a jealousy thing, even though the simp, in inverted commas, is not actually getting much back from what they're doing. It's it's funny, all this stuff. And simp is, I don't know how much it's being used out there in the wide world, because there's not much of a wide world at the minute, but certainly on Twitch, in the Twitch community, it's everyone knows that now. Everyone knows that term.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just curious, if you donated to a big male streamer, or I mean, would anyone call you a simp then?
What, like, me? Oh, you mean if you right? like, if say somebody, or a straight female did it? Anybody
donated to a big male streamer. Well,
well, apparently, because I had a discussion on my stream the other day about e-boys. So like e-girls is like not necessarily titty streamers, but like girls who are doing it for the dough, basically. Like titty streamers are included in that, or they dress up in more provocative ways. And some of them not overly provocative, but you normally got the knee-high socks. You know how it is. That's the thing. Like, and that doesn't mean that everyone who wears knee-high socks is an e-girl, of course. But so there's e-boys. I've not seen any, but apparently there are plenty. And yes, apparently the term gets thrown around in there also. So yeah, I've not seen it for myself, but from very trusted sources, I hear that it is like that, and there are plenty of e-boys. And e-boys as well aren't restricted to Twitch, and e-girls, same thing, I guess. Yeah. And I mean, you got cam girls and stuff. I guess they're kind of thrown into it. But with them, it is. Yeah. For them, it is just you're gonna watch them get off. Basically, that's the idea, isn't it? So
now I'm very curious about e-boys. Is that what it is? E-boys? What?
So
I'm trying to like figure out, because I have a clear picture of e-girls. What is? I don't know. Somebody link me. Somebody DM me an e-boy stream. I'm curious now.
Let's do more research on e-boys, because e-girls is a much more common thing. Obviously, that's why we know about it. E-boys we don't. So let's do some research, I guess, and
interview an e-boy.
Let's do some research and talk about it next week. We will be back again next week with more content.
Absolutely.
Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Bye, guys.
See you later. Goodbye.